Hello everyone. Welcome to Scary Storytelling. Today I have an interesting story to share with you. In the dead of night, Stone Junji quietly pushed open the door to his sister-in-law Lily's room. Chaos erupted immediately as the man inside barely had time to throw on his clothes before rushing out the door. Junji calmly sat on the couch, his feet propped up on the coffee table. He looked at Lily, his voice cold. "Sister-in-law, my brother has been nothing but good to you, and this is how you repay him? If he finds out, you know exactly what the consequences will be." Lily's thoughts turned to her husband, Stone Jingshan. Guilt washed over her, and she lowered her head. Jingshan had always treated her like a queen, pampering her, always obeying her wishes. If he ever found out about this, her perfect life would be over. "Junji, please don't tell him. If he finds out, this family will fall apart. You wouldn't want that, right?" Junji gave her a knowing glance, a sly smile playing on his lips. "Of course, I'll keep it quiet, as long as you agree to one thing." The request he made would change all their lives forever. Junji had grown up in a rural family with an older brother, Jingshan, who was 10 years his senior. Jingshan had always been kind to him, and Junji had relied on his brother for everything. After graduating from university, Jingshan worked as a key technical member in a company and earned a good income. He had a girlfriend, an accountant at the company, and after 4 years of dating, they got married. They bought a 2-bedroom apartment in the city and settled into their blissful life. After the middle school exams, Junji talked to his parents about visiting his brother in the city for a few days. His parents, knowing how close the brothers were, didn't mind, and even sent him with a bag of peanuts and a bottle of sesame oil for his brother. When he arrived, Jingshan was on a business trip, and it was Lily who went to pick him up from the station. They had only met once during the wedding banquet, and hadn't really stayed in touch. The reunion was a little awkward, but Lily's warm, lively personality quickly put him at ease. "Junji, wow, you've grown so tall and handsome in just a year," Lily said as she took the items from his hands and quickly put them in the car's trunk. Junji felt his face turn red from the compliment and shyly called out, "Sister-in-law, back." At the house, Lily quickly prepared some fruit for him and poured a cold beer. "You must be tired after such a long trip. Take a break and go shower while I cook dinner." When Lily went to the kitchen, Junji finally relaxed. The hot weather had made him sweat, and after finishing the cold beer, he went to shower. When he came out, Lily had already prepared a full meal: Coca-Cola chicken wings, fish-flavored shredded pork, braised ribs, and sautéed prawns. These were dishes he rarely got to eat. The delicious smell immediately made his stomach growl. "Come on, sit down and eat," Lily smiled, handing him chopsticks and filling his glass. The kitchen was so hot that Lily's clothes were soaked, so she changed into a sleeveless top and sat down across from him. "Junji, eat more. Don't be shy," she said, placing a large shrimp on his plate. "Thank you, sister-in-law. You're an amazing cook." Junji began to relax, touched by her warmth. "Where's my brother?" Junji couldn't help but ask. "Oh, I forgot to tell you. Your brother's on a business trip and won't be back for about a week." Junji felt a bit disappointed. He hadn't seen his brother in so long and really missed him. Lily noticed his mood and comforted him. "Don't worry, you're staying for just a week. It'll go by quickly, and when your brother gets back, we can all hang out. Your brother is always on business trips, leaving me all alone at home. It gets pretty boring, but now that you're here, I have someone to talk to." Junji didn't know much about his sister-in-law, but from their brief encounters, he had always thought of her as a lively and approachable woman. He was happy for his brother to have such a good wife, but being alone with her in the house still felt a little awkward. Every morning, Lily made breakfast for Junji and then went to work, dressing up in fashionable outfits. For lunch, she'd order him takeout, and in the evening, she would return to cook dinner. Junji was really touched by how well she took care of him. Lily treated him like a child, so she didn't mind being casual around him. She often changed into a sexy camisole when she came home, which made Junji feel embarrassed, and he didn't dare look her in the eye. One day, Junji was watching TV in the living room when Lily brought out some watermelon and placed it on the coffee table in front of him. When he looked up, he accidentally caught a glimpse of her in a way that made his face turn bright red. Lily, seemingly unbothered, teased him. "Junji, you're such a shy guy. You need to toughen up so you can be better at attracting girls." Junji awkwardly smiled, feeling uncomfortable. After all, he was a grown man, and being alone in a room with a woman still felt a bit too awkward for him. That night, Stone Junji woke up to use the bathroom and heard his sister-in-law, Lily, talking on the phone. "Why are you in such a rush? He's still at my place. Just wait a few more days. Once he's back, let him take his brother out for a few days. Then we'll have some time together." At first, Junji thought Lily was speaking to his brother, but he was shocked to hear this conversation. He tensed up immediately. His brother and sister-in-law had been married for less than 2 years. His brother always spoke highly of her, calling her capable and caring for the family. But who was she speaking to? The tone didn't seem to match that of a simple conversation between husband and wife. The next day, which was Saturday, Junji woke up early. He told Lily that he had arranged to visit his cousin and would be staying there for a couple of days. Lily's face lit up with a brief smile before she looked concerned and said, "Are you sure you'll be okay? Let me take you there." "No need," Junji replied. "I'll take a taxi. I'll contact my cousin once I get there. We've already planned it." But instead of going to his cousin's house, Junji took a taxi to a nearby mall where he spent the day, returning late at night. He grabbed a spare key by the door and easily unlocked the front door. The living room was quiet, but from Lily's room, laughter could be heard, as if a man and a woman were joking around. Junji's heart skipped a beat. Could it be the man from the phone call? He quietly approached the master bedroom door, the sounds from inside growing louder and more playful. "Sister-in-law, I'm back," Junji shouted as he knocked. The sound stopped abruptly. Lily yawned and said, "Junji, why are you back so late? I've already gone to bed. Go sleep too." "Sister-in-law, open the door. I need to tell you something important. My brother called and said he'll be home soon." Lily panicked at this news, quickly opening the door a crack. "Why didn't he tell me?" she asked, her voice trembling. Junji smiled. "He didn't want me to tell you. He said he wanted to surprise you." Lily looked nervous, but before she could respond, Junji suddenly shoved the door open and charged inside. Sure enough, there was a man in the room. When he saw Junji, he panicked, scrambling to get dressed and rushing out the door. Junji didn't chase him. He knew he wasn't a match for the man. Instead, he turned to Lily, his eyes filled with complicated emotions. Lily, pale with fear, trembled slightly. "Junji, please let me explain. It's not what you think." "Not what I think?" Junji's voice was cold. "My brother does everything for you. He always praises you in front of everyone, says you're so capable and good at taking care of the house. Is this what you've been doing?" Lily's eyes welled up with tears. She pleaded, "Junji, I was just confused. I won't do it again. Please don't tell your brother. If he finds out, this family is over. I'm sure you don't want that, right?" Junji sat down on the sofa, his feet propped up on the coffee table, staring at her. She was nearly 30, but well-maintained. Her figure looked 10 years younger as he looked at her tear-streaked face. Remembering the warm hospitality she had shown him, his heart softened a little. "I can keep your secret and not tell my brother," Junji said, his tone shifting. Lily immediately stopped crying. "Junji, you're like a brother to me. Thank you." Relief washed over her. But before she could fully settle, Junji's next words made her heart race again. His lips curled into a knowing smile. "But there's one condition." "Junji." "What condition?" Lily asked nervously, sensing something dangerous coming her way. Junji stood up, slowly approaching her, and whispered something in her ear. Lily's face turned pale with hesitation. This doesn't seem right," she stammered. "Fine. If you don't want to, I won't force you." Junji's voice was laced with a heavy threat. Lily sighed, and, with visible reluctance, agreed. "I'll do it." Meanwhile, Stone Jingshan received a call from his parents, who informed him that his brother had visited their home. He worked tirelessly to finish his tasks and returned within a week. As night fell, Jingshan looked at the city lights. He knew one of those lights was for him, and warmth filled his heart. He wanted to surprise Lily and Junji, so instead of knocking, he opened the door himself. Inside, beer bottles littered the table, and a suspenseful movie was playing on the TV. Where were they? Confused, he walked to the bedroom door. It was slightly ajar, and dim light spilled through the crack. Before he could think further, a chilling scream erupted from the room. Shocked, Jingshan kicked the door open. The scene inside made his blood run cold. He grabbed a chair and hurled it at the man in black. The man collapsed, blood spilling from his head. Lily, witnessing the scene, collapsed to the floor, crying hysterically. "He's Junji," she sobbed. Jingshan's world went black as he pulled the cloth from the man's face. his heart sinking as he recognized his own brother. Junji. "Don't scare me!" Jingshan cried out, dialing for help. Junji was rushed to the hospital. Though his life was saved, his brain damage left him mentally delayed, stuck at the cognitive level of a 5-year-old. Lily and Jingshan were questioned by the police, and the tragic truth finally came to light. It turned out that Junji had long been obsessed with the death god character from an anime. He wanted to act out the role but didn't have the money for costumes or anyone to play along with him. When he discovered Lily's secret, he seized the opportunity to ask her to help him live out his fantasy. Though Lily wasn't interested in the anime, she agreed to his request in exchange for him keeping her secret. She bought the costumes and props, playing along with his death god fantasy. When Jingshan kicked open the door, he saw the man in black wielding a scythe and shouting, and his heart nearly stopped. Lily was his treasure, and he loved her more than himself. He couldn't bear to let anyone harm her. In the ensuing chaos, Jingshan struck his brother, unaware it was Junji. The family was left shattered. One brother sentenced, the other left mentally damaged. Lily lost the loving home she once had, and the life she had built with Jingshan was ruined. She would live the rest of her life in regret and sorrow. This tragedy served as a warning. Crossing lines and indulging in dangerous desires can lead to disaster.